In 1821, the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley observed a relentless economic pattern. To him that hath, more shall be given, and from him that hath not, the little that he hath shall be taken away. The rich become richer, and the poor become poorer. Shelley's observation describes a mechanical reality found within modern banking algorithms. This isn't just cultural cynicism, it's a quantifiable feature of the global credit system. To see how this works, we can look at two small business owners. They share the same income, the same education, and the exact same business plan. On the same day, they both apply for a commercial loan. These data points represent real applications from a massive European longitudinal study. The vertical line is the bank's credit cutoff. Our identical applicants land in the center, separated by a fraction of a point. Landing a hair's breadth above versus below the line transforms their economic trajectories, forcing their financial paths to drastically diverge. This invisible line acts as a gatekeeper. It determines who is allowed to participate in economic mobility and who is barred from it. For the approved applicant, the loan functions as a financial time machine. It allows the owner to pull future earnings into the present to instantly purchase equipment and hire the staff needed to scale. Economist Thomas Piketty identified a specific reason why this access to capital is so powerful. His research shows that the return on capital, labeled here as R, reliably outpaces overall economic growth, or G. This means wealth generated from investments mechanically grows faster than wealth generated from hourly wages. Through the loan, the business owner captures this R. They reinvest their profits, creating a positive feedback loop of compound growth that scales the business far beyond the limits of physical labor. The empirical data proves the scale of this advantage. Just 5 years after loan approval, the recipient's personal income typically jumps by more than 10% compared to those who were denied. This is a wealth engine. By using systemic financial leverage, the owner has successfully uncoupled their wealth generation from their individual effort. Now consider the rejected applicant. Without institutional credit, they are forced to find other ways to keep their business alive. They fall into the poverty trap. This is a reality where people with the lowest incomes end up paying the highest prices for basic financial services and utilities. Denied by the bank, they turn to predatory payday lenders. These facilities offer immediate cash, but at interest rates that can consume the business's entire profit margin. High interest payments drain the capital needed for repairs or expansion. The business stagnates, and the owner's personal income often flatlines or begins to drop. This trap creates a mechanical drain. The lack of existing capital actively consumes the wealth the individual is trying to build, making escape mathematically difficult. When we look at the macro level, we see that the credit score cutoff line does not fall randomly across the population. This 1937 map shows redlining, a policy that geographically concentrated poverty by denying mortgages to specific neighborhoods. This prevented entire communities from building the home equity that serves as the primary source of initial wealth. Modern bank algorithms look for collateral and established credit history, factors that are nearly impossible to optimize without the generational equity these maps blocked. Today's software interprets this historical absence of capital as a modern lack of individual creditworthiness. This divide persists even in disaster relief. Data shows FEMA is more likely to approve funding for homes in wealthier areas than for affordable homes in poorer areas, often because the application process itself is easier for those with more resources. The credit score cutoff structurally separates entire communities into two distinct financial realities, often based on barriers that were established decades ago. At the 5-year mark, we can compare our two identical applicants one last time. The gap between them has widened drastically. While they started at the same point, the single decision at the credit cutoff has forced their incomes into a massive divergence. The Matthew effect manifests here as a mathematical certainty. Banking data shows an initial advantage translates directly into a permanent lead. This leads to the Great Gatsby curve. It shows that as this inequality gap grows, the chance for a child to earn more than their parents begins to vanish. In a modern economy, a business loan provides the foundational mechanism required for upward economic mobility. Solving systemic inequality requires addressing the gatekeepers who control that capital.